Welcome to Poetry Palace TV. I am Tom Beal, and this is my Diary of a Poet series. If you are new, the intent of this show is to read Volume 18, Internal Revolutions, poems I have been writing to my late wife since February of 2020. Unfortunately, I have not yet been able to read them in a composed manner. It was suggested that I simply start from the beginning so that I may get used to the idea slowly and add a bit more time to my process before actually trying to read those poems to you. If you would like to read along at another pace, the series is available to read for free at poetrypalacegiftshop.com. The producer of this show, as well as other fans, believe the verse in her volume is quite helpful for those who have lost a spouse. And if you know someone who you feel might be helped, please suggest they check it out. In this episode, we are going to finish up reading out of Volume 17, picking the pen back up. Number 1179. I am one of over 7 billion people here, but ego says I am the center of the universe. Most of my choices have been guided by lust or fear, and I have saved my highest reaches for display in verse. Like the Kool-Aid man in a standoff at the border, I have come crashing into the latter days of my life. Now meditating like some spiritual hoarder, seeing if I can iron out the wrinkles of my strife. Pink Floyd sermons echo in the corridors of my mindless, while I prove that it is never too late to start over. I have found that love releases all the ties that blindless, that diligent action trumps the luck of any clover. Number 1180. I do my exercises to greet the day, then inventory what I need to get chores done. I used to just watch as the times slipped away, so having a plan seems like I already won. We're coming up on 7 years in this place. I've accomplished more than the first half century. Possibly the mix of confidence and grace is exactly what I needed to be set free. Number 1181. The first step is always the only one. It has something to do with ever being now. Other steps are something we have done. We are at the eternal starting line somehow. And Groundhog Day keeps making better sense. Almost the same as no one told you when to run. But none of the calls are nearly as tense. And it is the reaper holding the starting gun. Number 1182. It is funny how my layoff has changed from past years with a bathrobe and TV. That once that much needed rest was exchanged, it turns out working is my way to be free. Tending all that which I have been gifted, working to make it better as I go. It is as if some curse has been lifted, some secret revealed that I did not know. Maybe the combination of the cures, the kaleidoscope of actions taken, building immunity to distractions' lures, making bitter those traits we have forsaken. Maybe the inner child just would not die. That little guy kept beeping things up. Maybe it just needed this long to cry. The beginning was quite a bitter cup. Number 1183. In 4 days, we are leaving for our annual cruise. We should consider beginning to pack. Out on the ocean with my vacation muse. She does well at keeping my life on track. It is not that we always see eye to eye or have to fight every step of the way. More like our methods blind us to the outcome, and language distorts what hearts have to say. Overall, we are agreeably happy. I think in percentages, we have won. We always lie down in peace when the night falls, and far more often than not, we had fun. Number 1184. I have this beautiful purple pen that my daughter gave to me. Not sure I will write with it better, but I will more happily. I am watching the 90s on Netflix. The Clintons stole the limelight. Just like the 70s and 80s, it's different in hindsight. Dumping those phone photos in the office, trying to save gigabytes. Remembering pagers and payphones, memories fading highlights. 50,000 pounds of dirt out back to start my winter chores. Guess I am trying to put to shame the effort of my befores. Fell for the lies of my excuses, the immense of thinking's whelm. So this year, it was time for a change, putting action at the helm. Today, I started pouring footings, hard work in a small place, 60 feet under my double wide, with the dream of keeping pace. 7 years sitting with my shovel, understanding diligence, often haunted by memories of my lack of intelligence. Fortunately, my recent mistakes have only been labor lost. The live and learn they talk about often is heavy in cost. 3,838 pics downloaded from the phone. Probably half of them on Facebook. It seems I am not alone. My daughter also makes me Google, 'cause I am so 90s still. Her guidance into this century is an unexpected thrill. 40 years dragging my poetry, many ill attempts to sell. Yet this quitter kept getting back up every time that I fell. Went from a spirit duplicator to refilling Lexmark ink. Now it's a Brother laser printer, yet still old-fashioned, I think. A couple of vacations ago, I had service on my mind. I suppose it was taught as a child, but I have fallen behind. Loyal to Royal Caribbean, Oasis was quite a ship. I wondered what else I could do besides leaving all with a tip. So I started fist-pumping workers, thanking them for what they do, patting the Central Park gardener's back most every time I passed through. It was the first of our back-to-backs. Made lots of friends with the crew. We even rearranged our seating, keeping waiters for week number 2. I greeted our new dining neighbor, a jolly elderly man, not knowing the gift of his friendship was to be part of life's plan. He invented Magic Mother. He served in World War II. Was busy with learning and business, seems since 1922. We got to spend some time together. His ambition touched my heart. He owned a large travel agency. I assumed that was my part. Now I think it was the reasoning that was meant to catch my eye. He said that no stock or warehouse drew him to give it a try. He thought I would be a great agent, and I so wanted to be. I just could not afford the process, which left me feeling guilty. This possibly was not a failure, but the way I could learn that sometimes the point of direction is to see around the turn. There would never have been the phone calls or the weekend this past year. His smiles and his fatherly input are memories I hold dear. I got busy at work, and he passed, too busy to say goodbye, reminding me again of shortcomings. In silence, my heart will cry. While putting to use his shared knowledge, with a Kindle for my verse, I can honor him with this venture. He can free me from my curse. I suppose I should call it a gift. At times, it is such a weight. Failing so often to find readers seems unfulfilled was my fate. The shrapnel of youth still bleeding, I must suppose it was lost. To avoid the lure of succeeding, to take the time to invest. In the therapy of self-loving, ironic it takes so long, that a stranger out on the ocean can help you hear your own heart's song. Without the burdens of production and some loot to advertise, seems the simple of his instructions saves a lot of compromise. I guess the greatest gift he left me is not the things that he said, but the way he put faith in action in all the ways he was led. Not sure I ever had a hero. I guess no one tipped the scales. But that was before the life I had, before I met Tipton Clinton Bales. Number 1185. Tommy Green Jr. Sitting by a barrel outside Brass and Buck pub, I could not help but notice Tommy Green from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Oh, forgot Junior was nowhere to be seen. Sadly, this may be the end of an era of love songs on the daily and getting weird. But the cheeseburger whistle and minivan, as sand between my cheeks and memory are seared. That mid-puberty steel was so hard to swallow, though that ginger from Ireland played quite well. The fun watching Tommy get lost in solos was exactly the stuff folklorists try to sell. There were a slew of accents from Great Britain, and I saw people from the Jersey Shore. DSB represented California. There was New England, Pennsylvania, and more. Then it boiled down to people on the ocean, kind of trying to get lost in suds and song, led by this mystical magician of tune that made every one of them feel they belong. Number 1186. So sweet the surprise that fell through, so touching again to my heart, seeing again the love you do, wondering how I got this part. It's so sad that this life is short. One can see the end as it nears. For your care is like a resort where I could spend 1,000 years. It is amazing that is the last poem I wrote prior to writing Internal Revolutions, which is all written after she stopped breathing. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Poetry Palace TV. I hope there was something that caught your ear. Please feel free to check out the website, and I hope to see you again next week. Au revoir.